anything and everything you want, you can go after it and you can get it. And it's all about trying. The main thing that limits us from being our true self is us. I'm not trying to say, oh, we are our own and worst and biggest enemies. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. What I'm trying to say is the more we live in our head, and especially when those thoughts are very negative, the more we are putting limitation on ourselves, the more we are living in fear. And we tend to put those heavy limitation on ourselves, those heavy limiting beliefs, saying that, oh, I cannot achieve this, I cannot do this. Like, why? It's us that are limiting ourselves. Instead of putting so much limitation on yourself, you can easily view it on the sense of, how can I get this done? How can I make this happen? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is like an easy thing to do. Like, we all go through it, and there are certain things that we may not be able to do one way. However, it may be done a different way, but by being more open-minded and telling ourselves, how can I get this done? How can I make this happen? Or how can this be done? It can open our mind a little bit more, so that way we can have different ways we can tackle it. So we don't have to look at it from point A to point B, but we can also look at it from let's say A to D, or even like B to C, or like different routes. It doesn't even have to be in order like that. It can also be from O to A. It's more about trying different things and like trying different outcome, trying different routes, not just limiting ourselves from that one route. And just because someone done it that way, that also doesn't mean that it has to be done that way. It can be done another way. And I've learned this many times, especially at work, or when I'm trying to do something, and let's say I'm creating a picture, but I want the picture to look a very specific way. So I will use PowerPoint to create a picture. Not many people would think of using PowerPoint to create a picture, right? But other people will actually use PowerPoint to create a picture, especially if you want to overlay picture and you want it to look a specific way, and you are knowledgeable and know how to use PowerPoint. So why not use PowerPoint to create a picture? You don't need Adobe Photoshop, or you don't need those extra specific skills. If you use what you have and you apply it a different way, you can get to your result. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Like, many people use PowerPoint for presentation, but like, look at me, I'm using PowerPoint to create an image. That's what I'm trying to say by not seeing things just one way, but keeping your mind open, by saying, okay, you know what, I know this is for this, but what if I use it for that? That's like very freeing, and also it allows you to experiment with other things. And yeah, even like when it comes to drawing, right? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I like this pen for shading, but what if I use it to actually sketch? At first it might not look good, but by going through that process, I might find a new use for that pen. I'll be like, you know what, I didn't really like how the shading came out, but I'm noticing how this pen is really good for fine line, especially when I want thick, bold lines. So now you have a new purpose for that pen, even though that wasn't what you intended to use that pen in the first place. But by trying something new, you'll find out something else about it. But sadly, we've been conditioned to have this weird belief that we are limited. But I'm here to tell you that you are not limited. Everyone and everything is actually limitless. And I'm sure there's probably gonna be people in the comment saying like, oh, ha ha, like, and give like their little 2 cents, but you might as well just like keep it to yourself, because I know myself, anything and everything I want, I will go get it, and it's here for me and it's coming to me naturally, right? And same for you, like anything and everything you want, you can go after it and you can get it. And it's all about trying and failing, right? And you also might not even fail. It's all about trying and trying and trying different things. If you try A and A didn't work, you can try A again, right? But you can try it a different way. You can also try B. You can also try C. You can learn from other people to achieve what you are trying to achieve, right? Everything is possible. Don't let anybody any weird people telling you, not weird, but don't let anybody tell you any different, because anything and everything you want to achieve, you can achieve it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, right? It may be easy, don't get me wrong, but at the same time too, it's life. It may be a little bit harder, and all you have to do is persevere and keep trying, try a different route, learn something new, improve. Okay, how can I get this? How can I make this happen? The how will show you different ways you can tackle in order to get what you want, right? How can I get more lighting? I can open the window, I can turn on the light, I can put a flash facing me. Like there's many. Or how can I edit my video? I can learn on YouTube. I can play around with the apps, which apps that are free. I can play around with like things that I feel comfortable about, and then I can learn the new skills. I don't have to limit myself saying like, oh, I don't know how to do this, so I'm not gonna do it. Like that, I don't know why. Like we've been, like many people, or like even myself included, is we've been conditioned to think that we are limited. Like there are certain things that we just can't get, when in fact the whole world is available to you. Especially the internet is making things so much easier. Like if you want to get somewhere, all you have to do is research how to get there. Like, okay, I want to travel and move to a different country. How can I get there? You can watch videos of other people that have done it before, and you learn from their mistakes, and you learn from their success as well, right? And other people will share the step-by-steps on how they got there. Don't get me wrong, not all the step-by-step will apply to you, but you take the things that will apply and you just implement them. And then you might watch another video, you take some of that and you implement it, and then little by little you implement those steps. Little by little you're gonna get closer and closer to your goal, and next thing you know, in 1 year or even 6 months or even 2 years, you are in that different country, and you're like, it's possible. And you're like, okay, so what's next? What do I want to do next? Maybe I want to, now that I'm in that country, I want to, I don't know, like open an art gallery, or I want to do this. I want to like teach people something. Like, how can I do it? And you go to the same process again. And then, don't get me wrong, sometimes you will try something and you fail. Sometimes you'll be very close to it and then you don't get it yet. But that doesn't mean that you give up. You can also try again. You can try it the same way, or you can try it a different way, or you can try it the same way, but tweak it a little bit, So everything is within your reach. You just have to do the research and implement the research. Implement the thing that you've learned. And don't let people like tell you otherwise. I remember I was talking to one of my friends and I was telling her like, oh, I want to make bags. And she's like, you want to make everything? You cannot make everything. And that stuck in my head a little bit. Not that I believed her, but she's one of my good friends, so she didn't mean it in any negative way. But I saw the limiting belief that she put on herself. And I was like, And deep down inside, I'm like, it is possible, but watch me, But obviously I was like, I just stayed quiet, because sometimes you just don't want to put your energy into the back and forth, because sometimes some people have their own negative beliefs so engraved to their head that they tend to put it on you as well. Not because they want to, but it's more like it's what they know, so they just spread it around. But if you don't know yourself, you might think what they say applies to you. Meanwhile, you're like, no, like all I have to do. When I heard that, I was like, in my head, I'm like, wait, no. There are people on YouTube that are showing examples on how they make bags, and I can just watch a video. I'm not saying I will get it all by watching one video. No, I will watch a few videos. I'm gonna get the materials and I'm gonna try to make my first bag. It might not look the prettiest bag, but by practicing over and over again, I will have my own bag that I'm would love. I wanted to get on here and just like share that, and maybe that video can actually help someone out there, especially if you want to try something new, or or if you feel like you want to do something but you are afraid to put yourself out there, or you have that limited belief thinking that, oh, it's not achievable for you, or your kind of people cannot get those things done. Like, don't put limit to yourself, just like go after it. I'm not gonna say it's going to be easy, no, not at all, but by putting yourself out there, by trying, by doing it, you are getting closer to actually making it achievable for you. But yeah, I hope you guys find this video very useful, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.